Welcome to Synced on Air. I'm your host, Angelique Robb, and today I have Todd Goers with me. He is the Director of Sales within the Green Industry Channels for WAC Lighting. Thanks for coming on, Todd. Nice to have you on.
Yeah, very, very happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Of course, of course. Well, let's get started by telling everyone how you started in the industry, how you ended up where you are.
Okay, so I've worked within the green industry my entire career. I've worked for exactly 2 irrigation companies and 2 landscape lighting companies,
Oh, there you
or,
go.
or lighting companies. But the irrigation ones really aren't relevant today. This year will be my 10th year coming up later this year with WAC Lighting and WAC Landscape Lighting specifically.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Well,
10-year
thank you so.
good anniversary, huh?
Time flies because it seems like just yesterday that I came on board, and now we're at the 10-year mark, and we've had a lot of things go on, and it's been a good ride though. And we're very proud of what we've accomplished thus far, and we still have a ways to go.
Awesome. Well, what attracted you to WAC?
That's a great question. So I would have to say the technology that WAC Lighting brings to the marketplace. When I interviewed, I was shown something that was, in my opinion, a game changer, something that doesn't come around very often. And it was the fully adjustable accent light. And this fixture was able to be controlled at the fixture. You could adjust the beam angle from 10 degrees to 60 degrees, and you could change the brightness from a very low setting. At the time, it was 2 watts. It's now actually at 1. But back in the day, it was 60. It went up to as high as 16 watts, and today it goes to 18 watts. So this one fixture basically was doing what it would take another company 8, 12 fixtures to accomplish. And when I saw it, I was immediately attracted to the company and the technology and the advancements that WAC Lighting was putting forward.
Wow. And that was 10 years ago. Yeah, no, that is impressive.
Yeah, a little bit ago, and that fixture today still is, a flagship product in our line, and certainly in the top 5 SKUs that we would sell. It's gained a lot of traction over the years, and I think there's a lot of people that have been very appreciative of the technology and the fact that it was rolled out into the marketplace, because essentially it has made a lot of folks' lives easier and their designs better, where this product can be fully adjusted to the exact needs of any application in the field.
Well, and I was just thinking, even so you can adjust it. Let's say you have a mature tree, fully leafed out, that maybe you want a wide beam for, and then whenever it loses all its leaves, maybe you want to just highlight the trunk. Is that an example of how it would be used, or you tell
Yeah,
me?
possibly. Yeah. Often when I explain it, I say, hey, sometimes when contractors or designers go to projects, maybe there's very young trees, right? And
Okay.
the trees could be 8, 10, 12 feet tall. And this fixture could be put on a very low lumen output level.
Yeah.
And the beam certainly wouldn't be at 60 degrees. It would be at a narrower position. And as that tree matures, and as that tree grows, the fixture grows with the tree, because
Yeah.
you can change the brightness to make it brighter as that tree gets taller, and as the canopy broadens, which often happens on a tree, you can widen the beam
Hopefully.
angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing, and we've done very well with it. And that fixture now, I mentioned it was one of our flagship products. We've actually have a fixture in the line that is a size smaller and a size larger. So it's a true family of accent lights that we are bringing to the marketplace that are fully adjustable.
Huh. That is great. And I guess the other thing is that you can order one product and use it in multiple different locations and adjust it as you see fit live after it's already hooked up.
Correct, and that's part of the appeal to the product, and we've tried to make it. When you think about it, it's really easier from a design aspect, and for a stocking distributor, it's less SKUs for them to keep track of on their shelves, and then for somebody actually doing the installation at the contractor level, again, it's less SKUs and it actually does more than it would take, again, 8 to 12 fixtures that you'd have to
Yeah.
carry with all the different brightness levels and beam angles. And that was the game prior to WAC coming out with this product.
Awesome. Well, and how does WAC like stay innovative? Yeah.
Great question. Great question. Well, we cheat a little bit. I'll say we rely on contractors, designers in the industry, and we love to gain feedback from them and use their ideas. Right, thus the cheating, if you will. Because there's nobody that knows better than somebody that's out, in the field doing design, doing installation work. So we like to play off their ideas, and many of the products that we have in our catalog today are direct results of feedback that we would have gotten, from those folks, in the marketplace.
Oh, that's great. Well, and I'm sure the designers and contractors appreciate seeing their suggestions come to fruition as well.
Yeah, I have one actually I'd like to actually point out, and it's this is a very I have it here on my desk. It's a very very small deck light, very narrow and
Okay.
not very wide. And this fixture, you can see where the light output is coming out of the bottom. This is
Yeah.
a very subtle fixture, but it fills a need. And this came to us from a contractor designer in Indiana, in the Indianapolis market, called Vive Exterior Design. The gentleman, owner, and founder of that company, Ryan Coyle, brought this to us, saying, "Hey, this is something that I could use." And our current deck lights had a much wider girth to them, if you will. And if you want to put that on a small skinny railing, it's going to have some
Ah,
hangover, where this fixture here is going to fit very nicely on a post and not have
yeah.
any excess fixture
With.
itself hanging over onto into space, if you will.
Yeah.
So this is a great fixture too. Gets used often in Florida, in the Florida market, for pool cages. There's bars. If you're from the Florida market, you'll know what a pool cage is. If you're not from Florida, you may not know what a pool cage is. You may have to Google that. But basically, it's a big screen that goes around a swimming pool. But this fixture also fits very nicely on the pool cage down in that marketplace.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
but again, this is not something that we just thought up. This came to us, through input from the field, saying, "Hey, here's something that's missing that we would love for you to make," and we made it. So
Fantastic.
just
Thanks to Ryan.
thanks to Ryan. So Ryan, if you're listening, thank you very much. And this would then come in a different finishes. We make this in bronze and black and also white. And the one I have here today is BBR finish, which is very similar in color to our bronze finish. And just a very, very soft glowing light output, but enough light to navigate at night and help somebody from a safety aspect. And as long as aesthetically making things a little more beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a fantastic example. Thanks for bringing that along.
You're very welcome. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what does BC have coming up?
Well, our most recent development and product that we've put forward in the marketplace is something called Colorscaping. And Colorscaping is a landscape lighting system that does white in a very big way. It'll project white light anywhere from 2700 Kelvin all the way on up to 6500 Kelvin and everything in the middle. Okay, so you have this huge range of what color or what shade or tone of that white light you would want, but then it also, just as an ancillary benefit, happens to do about 16 million colors.
Only 16 million. Yeah.
Anything that red, green, or blue can create as you mix them together, and there are many, many different colors that can be created. And this is a product that we rolled out most recently at the end, last year. We started shipping it. We've been shipping it now for just over a year, and it's done very well received in the marketplace, and we're having fun promoting and selling this product.
And so this is in any fixture you can, or
No, not any fixture.
okay.
I will call it another line of lighting. So we have
Okay.
WAC landscape lighting, a much more complete line there But then we have the Colorscaping line, which has about 15 fixtures to date. But we do have accent lights and wall wash fixtures, path lights. There's hardscape lights. There's wall sconce lights, tape lighting. It's a pretty complete line, just not as complete. I've been told, hey, for most projects that are out there, we do have enough of an offering in the Colorscaping family to complete most projects.
And there you can celebrate Christmas when you want to. You can celebrate your favorite football team. Is that a
100%.
couple of the examples, I guess?
Those are perfect examples, and exactly what this is all about. We see this product as most of the time being run on the white. I'll call it standard white light, whether that's 2K or 3K, what have you. But then, yeah, when your favorite team is playing, or there's a holiday, whether it be Valentine's Day or you mentioned Christmas, you mentioned either Halloween, whatever the case may be, you can show off your team spirit and put that on your team's colors just as you wish. Your house can be a little more spectacular, your property a little more spectacular than your neighbors.
And you don't have to get on the roof again.
You know, all of it's done through an app that is, basically going to be on your iPad, or it works with not only Apple products, but it also works, it's available in the Google Play Store. So it works with Android product as well.
Yeah. Oh, great. Great. Well, yeah, that is definitely something that, yeah, clients will really appreciate, being able to celebrate every holiday. I mean, that is a big part of landscaping is the outdoor lighting and celebrating the seasons too.
Yeah, it's been a fun product, and just as a small example, if somebody has maybe a Japanese maple tree, just putting the light, just a hint of red into that light, just makes that Japanese maple tree even more beautiful than it actually is if you had just standard white light on it. So there's just little fun things you can do to tweak scenes on your property, and we give you that advantage, and that tool, if you will, with the Colorscaping product.
Yeah. Oh, that is neat. Well, that is part of the future of lighting then.
Yeah, it was a
Enhancing the outdoors with I wouldn't know. Yeah. So, and do you help landscapers talk that through with their clients? Because, what colors you need to add or how to create those scenes. I guess in the app, it might help
yeah.
them
We
do
don't
that or,
we don't get so much involved in that aspect of the business, as far as trying to coach along someone with, hey, what shade to put on this or that. But I think that is done in the field, and there's endless experiments you could do to try to see, hey, how would this look and how would that look. But the example that I like to use is a lot of designers will do downlighting, and they're trying to create a moonlighting effect. But if you went to a project and say, you went up into the trees, whether this is with a bucket truck or on a ladder, I mean, this is dangerous work. And let's say that you thought, hey, I think that these fixtures will look the best at 6,500 Kelvin, which is a
Mhm.
very white light with even a hint of blue in the light. But if you set it up that way, and the homeowner, as you're walking the property with them at the end of the project, and if they come across and say, "Hey, I don't like the 6,500 Kelvin. That is a little too eerie or a little too white for me and my
Mhm.
taste." The nice thing about this product is you do not have to get back up on the ladder or bring the bucket truck back out to the project. You can change the color of that white light in the app, and because it's a Wi-Fi product, and at the stroke of just a few buttons on a keyboard of a mobile device, you can change that
Just changed it.
6,500 down to 5,500 or 4,500 or what have you, until your customers 100% satisfied with the look.
Well, and I guess you also might be matching other lights that are already installed on the house, and maybe you
Yes.
don't know the Kelvin
Yep.
rating, and then this allows you to adjust it on site as
Possibly,
well.
possibly.
Yeah.
Great point there. And when
Yeah.
I said the range of the product was 2,700 Kelvin to 6,500 Kelvin, this is adjustable in increments of one. So, I mean, we're
Oh, wow.
talking 2701, 2702, so on and so forth, all the way to 6,500. So you could match up, if there's existing white light on the property and you want to get it matched up to the eye exactly, you could do that.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
Great.
fun.
Well, and I just love the flexibility, that you can install everything and adjust it later,
Yeah,
adjust
that's
it.
exactly
Yeah.
how it works, and then it can always be changed. If somebody's watching and has worked with the product already, I mean, you're essentially creating scenes, and those scenes then can be scheduled. We call the scenes automations, but they can then be scheduled for on-offs and different times of the year. So you might say, hey, from December 5th through December 30th, I want my lights at a certain time of the day to be, red and
Yeah.
green. You could do that and set it up automatically. So it does that every year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of fun. There's really, I mean, it's one of those things where once you get it, I think the homeowner will have a lot of fun with it and be able to tweak things endlessly, if you will.
Yeah. Great. And have a lot of fun with it.
Yes.
Well, so tell me what excites you about your role there at WAC.
Well, that's a great question. It seems like no 2 days are ever the same. I mean, my main responsibility is working with our sales team, throughout the United States and Canada and setting up distribution across those regions right there. It's ever changing. There's always new possibilities and new things that are happening, and I feel like it's one of those positions where every day is just not mundane. I mean, there's new contractors that pop up, new designers that pop up, but we have new
Mm.
distribution that we add periodically. So I like the aspect of the position where there is not a rut that you could possibly get into. It is always ever changing, and it keeps the fun for me in play.
And so do you do a lot of traveling with your this position? Yeah.
I do a lot of traveling. Last week, I was up at the Northeast Hardscape Expo in Connecticut, and
Mhm.
then spent a couple days at our home office in New York, where our headquarters for WAC Lighting is Port Washington, New York, out on Long Island. This week, tomorrow morning, I'll get on a plane and I'm heading to Toronto. So again, there's plenty of variations in locations to travel as well.
Great, great. And meeting all the people that use your products to get more inspiration to move forward with, I guess.
100%. Probably one of my favorite parts or aspects of the role is meeting the folks that are actually either potentially going to be a user or existing users. They're uniquely different, but fun to talk to both of them to see what they're doing and why, and then see if we have something in our lineup of landscape lighting or colorscaping that would help them in their world and make their life a little easier.
Yeah, I love that. Great. Well, what kind of feedback do you have? Let's say a landscaper hasn't been using lighting. Would you explain what they're missing out offering their clients if they haven't started designing with lighting?
Yeah, I think there are a fair amount of companies out there that still they're doing landscaping, but they're not offering lighting. And I would say that to the folks like in that camp right there, that there's a whole nother vehicle of income stream that
Mhm.
they're foregoing. And I think there could be some folks out there that are just maybe a little shy or skittish on the electricity aspect of it. But you don't have to be a licensed electrician. This is a low voltage product. I mean, we're taking a transformer. It's a step down transformer that's taking 120 volts and stepping it down to 12 volts. And
Okay.
you would feel it obviously if you were hit with 12 volts, but that's not going to hurt anyone in a fatal way. So depending on what state you're in, it may require some licensing. It may not. That does vary from state to state. But I would say it's something that you play with maybe at your own home a little bit to see to test things. But then I think it's certainly something that could be incorporated into a landscaper's repertoire if they're not offering landscape lighting to their clients.
It's a great upsell opportunity, I think.
100%.
Yeah. And
100%.
there's so much that you can get or offer your clients, really. I've always liked to say, even if you're not outside, it actually adds ambiance to to your the inside of your house if you're looking outside and seeing your trees. You mentioned a Japanese maple lit up outside. It can make your living room feel larger because you're getting that light out your window.
Very much so. Very much so. It's one of those things where there's folks that buy landscape lighting for safety reasons. Some buy it for the beautification aspect of it, but it's regardless of how you would, why you're purchasing it. It's just a fabulous thing to have on your property. I don't. I hear contractors and designers that are doing the landscape lighting tell me all the time that a project could get completed and a homeowner may have spent $150,000, $200,000 on the pool or the backyard, fireplace and the outdoor kitchen. But oftentimes, I'll hear folks tell me that the homeowner, the final thing they say is, "Hey, the money that I spent on the landscape lighting is the best money I spent in the entire project."
Which is music to your ears, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I really do think somebody is doing someone else an injustice by not offering it. If you're building an outdoor experience, like I've seen some beautiful backyards, and by not offering landscape lighting, I mean, what do? You go out at night with a lantern? I mean, it would be kind of, it's kind of sad, right? You would want that space lit up so when you're back from work or back for the day, you can sit out and enjoy that. And that's what the landscape lighting does. It brings that home, used to that, space, 24/7, not just during the daylight hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you also mentioned when we spoke earlier that you have incentive trips as well for your installers.
We
Is that
do.
right?
Yeah, we do. We have a rewards program for the folks that are buying our product within the green industry, which is we just got back from Jamaica. This trip has moved around.
Nice.
It's moved around the Caribbean, and it's been to St. Lucia, Barbados, Curacao, Grenada. It just moves around the islands, and it's one of those things where it's a rewards program. So folks that are buying our product are getting points for dollars that they spend on our products, and when they have enough points in their account, they get the invitation to come along on the trip, and fun is had by all. I mean, it's a 5-day, 4-night trip, that all inclusive resort. So it is a trip for two, and we've had many of them so far. I think we've had 8 to date, and they're a lot of fun.
Well, and I guess it's a more casual environment to get to know your clients and bring up, you know, the future and what should be developed and get to know them and their projects maybe a bit more too.
Correct. We try to be very mindful. This is something that each of the contracting companies have earned on the trip, and we try to be mindful of their time. But we do have a business meeting within the time that we are at the resort, and it's an hour and a half, so it's not a crazy amount of time that we're asking. But it's at that meeting that ideas like this little deck light that we talked about earlier. It's at meetings like this and sessions like this where we do some brainstorming, that ideas come to the table, and we take a little straw poll on, hey, is this a good idea or not? And we get a show of hands, or we ask folks to maybe do write it down on paper if you like it or not. Just different ways to get input. But we've gotten some great input, and more than just this little deck light that we've been talking about today have come through this trip. So it's been a lot of fun, and I think everyone that's been on our incentive trip would say that, hey, this is a fantastic trip that we do a first-class job putting together and offering to our customers.
Awesome. Well, that shows how much you care about your customers. So yeah, I'm sure it's appreciated and sparking ideas. Sometimes it's best to be in a group like that, and ask what we should develop, and then one person's idea will, grow with more input from the team.
Yeah, I would like to say that it's interesting because the meeting is optional. We say, hey, we have an agenda that we put together. It could involve beach volleyball one day, or it could involve an excursion. It's all optional, but I'm very proud of everyone that's been on this trip, because although this business meeting is optional, I would have to guess that we have probably 90 to 95% participation with the group on the trip. So
Oh,
they know they don't
nice.
have to go to this meeting. It's usually from 8 to I think 8 to 9:30, and they could elect to sleep in, but they're there, and we're very appreciative that they're there, because again, a lot of the feedback is very important, and nobody knows better than the folks that are on the trip on hey, what can we do to make a product better,
Mhm.
or what products could we make that we don't have today that could enhance our line, and ultimately it helps them in the field.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is great. That is great. So what do you think is next down the line in the future? Where do you see innovation going? Or is that too hard to say? I
It's
guess.
well, that's probably your toughest question today for me. And some of these things could be secrets that we can't talk about yet. So
Yes. Okay. Don't give
we don't
away your
want
secrets.
to. Not that any competitor would ever watch this, but just in case, we got to be careful. But just to sum it up, maybe as best I can, I see technology continuing to advance in landscape lighting. I think landscape lighting was the same for a long period of time, really up until 10 years ago when WAC Lighting entered the space of landscape lighting. And now that we have come out with some products that are patented, that we have some technology advantages in the marketplace, I see other companies out there also stepping up their games. I think WAC Lighting is pushing the envelope and getting others, not just WAC Lighting, but others are also saying, "Hey, look what they got. What can we do?" And so I think the
Mm.
whole industry is better for WAC Lighting to have entered this space.
Fantastic. Well, we're glad you're here too. And thanks for driving innovation forward and giving contractors options, designers and contractors options, and making their lives a bit easier. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for
Yeah, you're
that.
welcome. I mean, that's what it's about, I think, and I think in doing so, we're all going to grow and continue to move forward together.
I agree. I agree. It's all about pushing forward and everybody, yeah, jumping on board and pushing it forward in different directions. How, if people listening to our podcast want to get in touch with you or WAC, how would you suggest them reaching out?
Um, can I give my phone number?
Of course, yeah, go for
Yeah.
it.
So I have one number, 704-305-8527. And my email is Todd Goers. So Todd.Goers at waclighting.com. And our website is very simple. It's waclighting.com. So very simple to get to that page and then navigate to the landscape lighting page. We have a new catalog that just came out about a week or two ago, and that's posted electronically on the website, so you can
Perfect.
leaf through that.
Okay, well, great. Well, what we'll do in the show notes is we'll put those details as well. So thanks for giving your phone number, direct line, and email address and website. And yeah, audience members can get in touch with you and learn more about WAC.
Thank you so much for the time. It was a fun chatting today.
Thanks, Todd, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Okay, very nice.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, bye.